Alright, buckle up. Today we're talking about a man who looked at reality and said, nah, I'm good. This is the story of a TikToker who genuinely believes he's not human. Not in the quirky, I drink iced coffee instead of water way. I'm talking full-blown DLC character energy. Vampire, werewolf, demon, dragon, the whole supernatural starter pack. If Hot Topic gained sentience, it would probably look at this guy and say, tone it down. So our main character is a mid-20s dude from Idaho who decided that being a regular human was just too mainstream. Humans are boring. They have jobs, they pay taxes, they don't create homunculi out of My Little Pony figurines and call them their children. That's amateur stuff. Now, before we even get into the paranormal LARPing Olympics, let's talk about how he presents himself. This man has done live streams where he casually talks about things that would make your Wi-Fi router disconnect itself out of secondhand embarrassment. Just full on, no filter, no survival instinct. The kind of oversharing where you're not sure if you're watching a stream or witnessing someone accidentally confess to crimes in 1080p. But don't worry, according to him, it's fine. Because if you say, I've changed enough times, it's like hitting Control+Z on life. That's how it works, right? Judges hate this one simple trick. Now here's where the story starts getting weird in that, did I accidentally drink gasoline kind of way. He claims he's a hybrid, not the Prius kind, the supernatural kind. According to him, his birth mom was a werewolf. His birth dad, vampire, which means genetically speaking, this man thinks he's a limited edition Halloween event. When asked how this works biologically, spiritually, logically, pick a category, he just doubles down. He says he can use blood magic, which already sounds like something you unlock after beating the tutorial boss in Skyrim. And with this blood magic, he can bring inanimate objects to life. Yes, objects. He claims he creates little beings called homunculi, and one of them, I kid not, is apparently shy and doesn't like being on camera. Imagine being the cameraman hearing that sentence and just slowly reconsidering your career choices. He says these objects can have personalities, they can have children. He has allegedly had children with one of them, which in reality is just a box of toy figurines that he assigns lore to like he's writing the most unhinged Pixar script of all time.
Her name's Tora, so she's one of the many homunculi I brought to life. Since she has life to her, she is able to give birth to children and stuff like that.
So like you've had children with her?
Yeah. But
it's not presented like a joke. There's no wink at the camera, no haha gotcha, just full commitment, like Daniel Day-Lewis of Delusion. And you might think, okay, this is just harmless fantasy roleplay. Oh no, that's just the side quest. Because outside of the supernatural fanfiction, there's a long history of extremely serious allegations and behavior that isn't quirky. It's not weird in a fun way. It's the kind of weird where you pause the video and just stare at the wall for a second. And somehow, through all of it, this man maintains the confidence of someone who thinks he could absolutely take on Anonymous in a hacking duel. Yes, that's another thing. He claims he used to run with elite hackers, like some kind of keyboard Game of Thrones subplot called the Nerd Brigade. I'm not joking. He talks about it like he was the Jon Snow of Reddit. But we're just getting warmed up here. Because once you mix supernatural identity crisis, self-proclaimed hacker warlord energy, and live stream oversharing with zero self-preservation, you get a cocktail so chaotic it makes Four Loko look stable. And that's only scratching the surface. Remember how I mentioned he claimed to be part of some elite hacker guild? Yeah, this man talks about his past like he was running a cyberpunk mafia out of a Best Buy parking lot. He describes it like he was leading a shadow council of keyboard warriors called the Nerd Brigade, which sounds less like Anonymous and more like a middle school robotics club that discovered Mountain Dew. According to him, he was basically the final boss of petty crime, self-proclaimed king of thieves, not metaphorically. He genuinely says he used to pickpocket kids and run a black market, which is wild because the only black market I've ever seen involving kids is trading Pokemon cards at recess. But in his version of events, he was building an underground empire. I'm picturing him in a hoodie, dramatically whispering, "The streets of Melba belong to me," while aggressively stealing someone's Capri Sun. Now here's the pattern that keeps happening. Every time he tells one of these stories, it sounds like a rejected anime backstory. Always dramatic, always exaggerated, and always somehow designed to impress whoever he's talking to, especially when he's talking to women. There's a recurring theme where he just overshares the most insane things imaginable in an attempt to look impressive. Nothing says future husband material like confessing to crimes and claiming you can spawn life using blood magic. And when confronted with actual receipts, like video clips of him saying things he absolutely should not be saying, he has a go-to excuse generator that would make ChatGPT blush. I was tired. I was drunk. I was high on nicotine. My brain wasn't letting me sleep. Nicotine. That's the villain arc. Not his choices, not his actions. The mango-flavored vape juice apparently hijacked the cockpit. I've heard of nicotine buzzes. I've never heard of nicotine possession. This man talks about vaping like it temporarily turns him into a different entity. Sorry bro, wasn't me. That was Strawberry Ice 3000 talking. At one point, when shown footage of himself saying something absolutely indefensible, he points to his eyes and says you can tell he was drunk because they were dilated. That's the defense. CSI, Vape Nation. And then there's the relationship stuff. He's repeatedly been confronted about talking to minors online. Not rumors, not he said, she said, literal clips of him in conversation. And instead of denying it outright, he just pivots into, I've changed, I'm a good boy now. A good boy. This is a grown man referring to himself as a good, precious boy while under investigation. That's not a redemption arc. That's a Disney Channel villain trying to unlock sympathy DLC. He genuinely seems to believe that if he publicly apologizes enough times, it wipes the slate clean. Like there's a cosmic forgiveness punch card. 10 apologies and the 11th crime is free. And the most unsettling part? The confidence. The absolute certainty that he can talk his way out of anything. He'll admit to things, then immediately downplay them, then blame sleep deprivation, then nicotine, then circle back to being a supernatural entity. It's like watching someone speedrun self-incrimination. And when interviewers press him on inconsistencies, like dating someone underage, he suddenly becomes a geography professor. Well, actually in the UK, brother, you are not in the UK. You are in Idaho. You're not Count Dracula. You're a guy with Wi-Fi and zero impulse control. And every time he's cornered, the excuses evolve. It's almost impressive in a watching a raccoon open a locked cooler kind of way. But then the mood shifts, because when he realizes the interview isn't there to clear his name, that's when things go full anime antagonist. And trust me, that's where it gets truly bizarre. Up until this point, he's trying to play misunderstood anti-hero. I've changed. I'm a good boy now. The vape possessed me. You know, standard redemption arc delusion. But the second he realizes the interview isn't a PR cleanup tour and is actually, you know, accountability, man turns into a Spirit Halloween final boss. He goes from, I just want to be a good precious boy, to, you've awakened something ancient. And I'm not exaggerating. At one point, he starts claiming that he's no longer in control of his body, that a demon, yes, an actual demon, has taken over. Not metaphorically, not like, I've got demons. No, full possession arc. He announces that Lucifer is speaking through him, which is bold, because if you're going to roleplay as the Prince of Darkness, maybe don't do it over a slightly laggy Discord call with a gaming headset mic that sounds like it's fighting for its life. He starts threatening the interviewers, telling them they'll never sleep again, that a demon will wait until they close their eyes. The tonal whiplash is insane. 5 minutes earlier, he's explaining that nicotine made him do it. Now he's summoning Hell's HR department. And the commitment is unreal. He deepens his voice. He speaks slower. He says he'll only leave the body once his contract is complete. It's like watching someone audition for a community theater production of The Exorcist. But here's what makes it even more bizarre. In between demon threats, he keeps circling back to logistics, police investigations, devices being seized, Xbox confiscated. Yes, his Xbox was taken. And when asked why police would need his Xbox, he casually mentions he uses it to play online with friends who are in high school. You know when you hear something and your brain just pauses? Like Windows error noise? That. He tries to downplay it. We just play Sea of Thieves. Boys will be boys. Sir, the only treasure being hunted here is evidence. And the way he explains everything is like he thinks adding a casual tone makes it normal. Yeah, they're younger, but we're just sailing around finding treasure. That's not helping. And whenever he's confronted with hard proof, screenshots, clips, literal timestamps, he never goes with a strong denial. It's always some variation of, I wasn't sleeping. I was drinking.